Hello and welcome. I'm Juan Ignacio. I'm from Spain. I've been in Poland for a year, and I'm going to talk about bilingual larps. So I have been doing labs in Spain during the last 10 years in the group Sonia, which my friend Jose is part of, and we try to do always something new or something experimental, something different when we do a lab. Okay, so language is something powerful, and it's something quite defines your lab when you do it. So the language of your choice is really important. And so, for example, if I'm going to do a sword and sorcery lab in Spain, and I want a really arcane Eldritch language to use, maybe I would use Polish, because for the Spanish ears, Polish is really arcane, Eldritch, and mysterious. But I would think that if I went into a different country. So why bilingual labs? Why don't we just make an English language LARP, or just accept foreigners to a LARP in a native tongue? For example, I don't know, if I'm in Spain, I could open positions for foreigners, and that's all, and not make a bilingual LARP. Or maybe just accept that they come. Okay, come and participate on whatever. In Spain, in Poland, in whatever non-English speaking country. Okay? So we have three options. We can go full English, full English language, so we can make the LARP in English, but maybe that it is not optimal because of some participants are not really fluent in English, native participants, and maybe you want a design that intertwines English and the native language. So you can go also to the opposite direction. You can go and, okay, you can come to our lab, you can talk in English, but we are not translating anything, but you can come, you can Google translate the text, but that is not really useful, because that creates a ghetto, the foreign ghetto. The foreign ghetto is something like, okay, I'm a native speaker of this in this country, and I'm going to make you a lab. I have this in this corner, the foreign ghetto. So the foreign people who are here and are like second class because they are not important to my experience. I go to them if I want an exotic scent, if I want an exotic point to my experience in lab. So they usually end up either bored, either non-connected, either not really part of the lab. They suffer for being the foreigners. Or you can go to and try to make a bilingual lab. Well, we do that. We would do that last year in Spain. In Spain, we did that last summer. It was a lab called Robota, which we tried to approach Western corporate culture and illegal immigration using the trappings of a post-apocalyptic lab and setting. And but we wanted to do something special with it. We wanted to make a bilingual lab because we wanted to open ourselves to the international community, but we also wanted that foreigners could experience our LARP culture, the LARP culture of Spain, as foreigners, but in an event, in a LARP which was created by Spaniards and which Spanish players played. So. Not like because when you make an English language lab, it's more international, but maybe the culture of the country in which you make this lab, it's not so well manifest. And of course, bilingual labs open unique experiences, unique opportunities of combining languages and yes, and combining languages and combining new plots, new ways for the players to interact. So, what we should do, we want to make a bilingual app. We should design for it. That is crucial. That is really important step. You cannot go just and say, okay, so people can come and I will translate something for them, but they have to take care of themselves. No, you have to take care of the foreigners. So the first step should be to make your lab, to be sure that your lab can support a bilingual lab. So that you have enough English-speaking players, even if they are native players who can speak fluently English. Of course, we are saying bilingual labs. We are speaking about national language and English, because English is quite an international language. So, but you could use another language, but it's not so widespread. So what else? Of course, you need communication. You have to communicate your intent to the foreigners. You have to translate completely your web page. It is not just you need a section of it, but you have to you need at least as long a section as the native tongue one. You need to translate everything, and you need to convey your vision for this lab. Your specific vision, your specific culture, so the foreigners can know in what they are getting into. They have to know that they must know what are they going to do, what kind of law, and you have to translate that, and you have to explain that well to them. So you also need organizers who can speak English and who can make a special effort to support these foreigners who will come to your lab, and you also need a little of positive discrimination for foreigners, because foreigners are going to risk more than native of this country, of the country in which you do the lab, because foreigners will travel, will make like expenses. Or even just they are trying something new, so you have to discriminate a little bit in a positive way, but you don't have to make a privilege. You must not give them a privileged treatment. Because they are players like the other ones. You cannot fall into the mistake of okay, I am going to have international players, foreign players, so they are going to be the stars of the show, and the others, and the natives, no, you don't have to do that. So also, you need that the foreigners have to integrate themselves into the lab. They cannot be newcomers. They cannot be. You have to avoid this ghetto corner, this ghetto mentality. You have to avoid that they are for example, newcomer characters with no past, with no links, with no relationships to the rest of players. No, you have to put them in the middle of fire. You have to put them right there and with the same level of relationships that the rest of the players, and with the native players. You have to intertwine them to involve them into the lab. You cannot make you shouldn't make a separation. Okay, so of course you can also have you usually would want to prepare some reasons, the diegetic reasons inside the fiction for to explain why this situation of two languages are used. You have to prepare for it. For example, we in Robota we used a factory, this corporation who was founded by a foreigner. It was in Spain, but the founder was a foreigner, and this foreigner only talked English. So, but after the fall of civilization, the new workers were Spaniards, were natives. So there was the two languages convived, and they shared space. And of course, you can also, and it's recommended that you treat English as a prestige language, as a prestige or social standing language, to entice the native speakers of the country to use also English, to entice them to use English, to communicate in English, because it's something with prestige, with social prestige, and the foreigners should be in position that they cannot be ignored. When you put a foreigner into the lab, when you deploy him, to say so, you cannot do it in a way that he can be ignored. He should be an integral part of the lab. That is also the other side of intertwine them, of integrate them into the rest of the lab. And you can use weaknesses of your as strong points. For example, you can have some native players that doesn't speak English at all, or just a little bit, or just have one or two words, but you can use them. You can use that, and you can because you have to force them to interact with the foreign players, maybe with non-verbal communication, gestures, or simple words that can be misinterpreted. Or you can, and you also have you also have the possibility of having translator characters. Some players who can translate. And during the execution of the lab, you need also to be mindful of foreigners and keep an eye on them to ensure that they are not being isolated. So that will be more or less the steps which this design and application of bilingual labs should be. Do you want to make any question? Okay.
Question here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Mostly, will you talk about the specific instance you have executed this kind of method later, or can we ask about it now?
You can ask them now or later after the speeches.
Well, mostly my question would be that what kind of difficulties did you encounter during the execution of the LARP, and how did you manage to resolve them?
That will be a topic for a long discussion, but to simplify, we could say that we were unknown outside Spain. In Spain, our group, or Somnia, or lab group, has some reputation, but outside Spain, it is completely unknown. So we had difficulty attracting foreign players. We attracted finally we attracted Italian players. We also attracted French players and
it's a lie, I didn't see any Italian.
Yeah, of course. And so that, I think that was the main difficulty. And of course, another one is to explain your base, your native base of players that you are going to make a bilingual LARP instead of just a Polish or Spanish LARP and foreigners can come. No, you are going to make a bilingual LARP. But and you have to ensure that they are not going to be left out, even if they don't speak English.
Yeah, that somewhat reflects my experience too. So again,
maybe add some experience with that.
Oh yes, and you have to translate everything. So also you have to translate every text, every aspect of the game, even diegetical text within the fiction. You have to translate them, and even make some text, even some text in your native tongue, and some text in your in English also, just in English and just in the native tongue. So you can also use this this play of languages, this exchange of languages.
Have you had any problem with gathering players to the LARP? Because that's a large project and people have to travel to Spain LARP. So it's, you know, many of them maybe can't afford and so on, so on.
Yes, yes. Also, you have to have in your mind this kind of. That was the last part of the speech, the execution part. You have to keep an eye on them. You have to take care of them. You have to go for them to the airport, you have to try to facilitate the means of coming to a LARP, and you have to do that in the first step of the communication. You have to state clearly that you are going to take care of them, that you are going to worry for them, and they are not going to be like completely lost in your country.
And how many nominated players did you have in the end? And what was the ratio?
Okay, our intended ratio was a quarter of players. We made a 40 players LARP, but we aimed for 10 foreigners, and we unfortunately we only get 7. But it was not a bad number, but we wanted it to be higher, of course. Yes.
Another question about the so after the LARP happened, were there any things encountered during the LARP which made you change your original approach to bilingual LARP organization?
Well, that is tricky because between among the organization we have the different ideas. I'm quite enthusiastic with bilingual LARP. So even if there are a lot of work to do, and they need a lot of work to do, it allows for unique experiences.
Okay, I think I need to rephrase my question. So I mostly wanted to ask that you designed the LARP to be bilingual in a certain way. So, and did you have any experiences on that LARP which would make you do a bilingual LARP later in a different way? So are there things which you would change looking back in your approach to organizing a bilingual LARP?
Yeah, so of course advertise it before, because we were late at advertising because we were not really sure. So we tried to we should try to advertise it with plenty of time ahead for people to travel and to come here and to come to the lab. Because we had 2 or 3 players who would want possible players who wanted to come, but they couldn't because we advertised it late. Yes, and I think we should even when making a bilingual LARP, you also have to I think something that we didn't did so well was to inform them with more specifics. So that's the reason I am stressing now the need for more information. And even if you think that it is not really needed, you need to give them that information.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So thank you very much.